Hello, everyone. This is Donovan. I'm basically known as. Hello, everyone. My name is Donovan. You might know me as Demon Sword on the Steam forums. And basically, I'm going to do a little bit of a Let's Play review of this game. I've already played a little bit of it, so this is not a first impressions video. But basically, we're going to examine this game here called Dead Bits. And let me just start off with the verdict. This game is phenomenal. I've never seen a zombie game in quite some time. As we all know, the zombie genre it's been dying down quite a bit. And it has not been run into the ground at all. And it also uses a very visually unique style that isn't at all similar to Minecraft. Fuck it. This game is not good. Okay, it handles like crap. I wouldn't recommend paying $1 for it. I wouldn't recommend taking it for free. Now, I didn't pay anything for this game. It was gifted to me from a friend of mine, and all I can say to her is, why? Why would you do this to me? Why? Why? But seriously, I wouldn't recommend playing it. We're gonna take a quick look at the game here, and I'll basically explain why. I made it to level 4 and basically was pissed off, bored, and unenthused. But I gotta do this game justice. So let's watch the opening cinematic. Quilly lived in a distant galaxy. Someday, alien species commanded by Quanton abducted him while he was sleeping. His eyes were wide open while he was asleep. Now Quilly has to complete all Quanton's tests in order to earn his freedom. So basically the summary is aliens abducted this little fella named Quinon or Quinton or whatever. Quilly was abducted by aliens and now zombies. You did not see that incorrectly. This game loaded me in midair and then dropped me while the command screen was up. Now first and foremost, I fucking hate these tutorials right here. There's a little tiny window that briefly explains how to play the game. This is acceptable in a free-to-play Flash game. This is not acceptable in a commercial title. Have a proper fucking tutorial, and I'm going to explain to you why in stark detail, because I did not really know how to play this game, okay? So the game started me off. Now, this is a little bit different than my first experience. For some reason, the very first time I played, this gun did not load. There was just nothing here. I'm not sure why it happened, but there's no gun here. I turned, I saw arrows pointing downward, and yeah, I just followed the arrows, and then I got eaten by zombies. And I have to state this again. UFOs abducted your character, then zombies. Okay? Just let that sink in. It just doesn't really make sense. Now, this game is somewhat choppy. I can partially blame this on my screen recorder. Let's see if I can do anything with this in the settings. The quality is down to weak. You have weak, good, perfect. What's the visual difference on perfect? Okay. There is no visual difference on perfect. Here's perfect, okay? Here's weak. Perfect. Weak. Perfect. Weak. There's no difference, okay? I think this menu is just here to make you think there's a difference. Maybe it's attempting to go for the placebo effect. But there's no difference. Let's dive right on in. Now, you shoot the zombies, they die, you win. This Uzi is like a pea shooter. It takes like a bajillion shots to kill them. So everyone's dead. I beat the level, and nothing. Nothing. You can jump up here. Oop. You can look off the edge into oblivion. You can think of the ramifications of taking your own life. This game is not very good. It's not very good. So yeah, the game, the level ends, but it doesn't really tell you anything from there. And I'm looking around, and I couldn't figure out what to do. I just used, for the first couple of tries, I just pressed the escape key and exited the level as soon as it said the next level was unlocked. But actually, you're supposed to jump into this particle effect here. Now, what's interesting is that when I saw it, I thought it was a hot tub, and I thought that was just steam coming out of the hot tub. Now, you got to bear in mind the visual style of the game. I don't think it's inexcusable for me to assume that this was a hot tub with steam coming out of it. So I completely ignored it. I walked around. I looked off the waterfall, more oblivion. There are some invisible walls here. And the controls are really off. Another issue I'm going to point out here is that when you pause the game, you lose control of your aiming reticule. Now that kind of makes sense. Now you might notice that the particle effect is still animated, and one of the first issues I really take is that that's not the only thing that's still animated. Now, another problem with the pause menu here is that it doesn't actually pause anything. I'm still free to strafe and move around. So the pause menu doesn't actually pause anything. You also you use the keyboard to get into pause menu. You don't use the keyboard to get out of it. You have to press resume game. Now the thing about that is, maybe this is just the way I've always played games, but when I pause a game, I expect the same button that pauses the game, I expect it to unpause the game. Okay, as you can see, particle effects are still going, and like I said, you can still strafe about, you just can't shoot or aim. Anyways, I tried to unpause using the keyboard again, right after complaining about it not working. It's so ingrained into my brain that it feels very unnatural. Now the next issue comes up with this right here. As you can see, I exited the level, and rather than taking me to the next level, it loaded me on the menu screen here. So this breaks the flow completely. I'd say when it comes to progression, there's two ways to do it. Either have a menu come up and say, would you like to proceed to the next level? Yes or no. Or you can just have it automatically load you into the next level, because it just breaks the flow of everything. It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I also don't understand why the levels end the way they do. Okay, the goal of a given level, from what I can tell, is to kill zombies. So once you kill all the zombies, it should just say, you know, mission accomplished, would you like to proceed to the next level? That's all it should do. You shouldn't have to find some blue platform and stand on it. It doesn't make sense, right? Because the nature of the goal is to kill things, okay? It's not to get from point A to point B, it's to kill things. And indeed, if you try to go from point A to point B, you'll get there and be disappointed because you still have to kill things. So if the goal is to kill things, and to kill X number of things, then have killing X number of things be what triggers the level completion, okay? It's just, the flow is just, it's just terrible. So let's move on to level 2. Guns do not carry from stage to stage. Every time you start off floating in space, and then you fall, and you have no weapons. You have to pick up a weapon. This weapon right here, so long as you have this weapon, you don't need this one. This one's completely pointless. Jump off, shoot some zombies. It does a slow motion thing. I don't fully understand it. I think it has to do with hitting a weak spot, or perhaps the head, but it doesn't seem to be a consistent thing, you know? The next thing I have to point out is that there's no health indicator. Now, in a first-person shooter, you don't necessarily need a health indicator. You know, you can do what Call of Duty does, where the screen gets more red and progressively bloody as you're closer and closer to death, and then have it progressively heal as you play. But this game doesn't do that. I get the feeling you heal as you play, so it'll take a few minutes to wait. You know, you'll heal, and then you're ready to go, but there's no indicator that you're close to death. So you don't really know. Another issue is that the guns have infinite ammo. Now that might not sound like an issue at first, but when you consider the nature of a zombie shooter style game, ammunition is almost an essential. It's a necessity because most zombie games, it's about using your ammo wisely. That's kind of the whole thing. One of my favorite zombie-related games, um, Resident Evil 4, you had to be careful with your bullets. You got a lot of ammo if you were willing to explore, but because the game was tense and foreboding, certain people, myself included, because I was pretty young, were always wary and cautious about exploring. You didn't want to die and have to fucking start over. So there was a reward. You look around, you find ammo, you get money, pesos, and you can buy better weapons. You can upgrade your weapons, but still, ammunition is relatively scarce, especially for your first playthrough. Especially if you can't aim all that well. This game has no ammo whatsoever. You can just fire wildly. So there's a lot of lacking depth. These blocks get in your way. You can shoot them down, but it's still annoying. Zombies can attack you while the game is paused. You can't do anything about it. The weapons, there's no point in replaying the level. I want to point that out as well. It's always the same weapon every time you play a given level. A bat, an Uzi, or I don't know what that other weapon was, like a paint gun or something. It blows the enemies up. So there's a giant zombie. I'm going to bash him with the bat. This doesn't make any sense at all. I don't understand why you would use a bat against a giant. He's a giant. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then you jump into this cavern. Now, before I jump down here, I just want to say that turning on this game is terrible. Quilly, the main character, does not turn on a dime, and it's a hindrance. Okay, I feel like whenever I lose, it's because this game is not good. I feel like it's the game's fault, not mine, and that's a problem. Now you end up down here, and zombies come out of nowhere. Okay, you can bash them with a bat, but these zombies are a little faster, and they like to come for your blind spot. The problem with that is it's really hard to turn. They always seem to be right in your blind spot, and it's tough to hit them with a melee weapon. There's a spinning Rubik's Cube here. I don't know what the fuck that is. There's a couple of them in the game. I get the feeling they're health packs, but there's no health gauge or anything to let me know if they're working. There's not. I mean, you can put the cliche white cross on it to let you know that's a health pack, but they don't do that. There's just nothing. It's just a red Rubik's Cube. And I don't quite understand what it is. I think maybe it's a Rubik's Cube for the mentally challenged or for people who are very impatient, because no matter how much you turn it, you always win. So anyways, I'm going to ignore the Rubik's Cube. I think it probably is health, but, it doesn't indicate that it's health. I don't have a health bar to go by, so I just don't care. Earlier on, I said this game is reminiscent of Minecraft. When I think about it, it's really not quite the same. I mean, it's the same principle, using blocks, cubes, to make up shapes. It is a bit different than Minecraft, obviously. Their art style is different. I find Minecraft handles better, as well as those Pixel Z games. I hate them, but I find they handle better than this game. I find it really jarring that the weapons, they don't seem to exist in the same universe as this universe. You know what I mean? You have this chrome textured bat here. That's what I think it is, at least a bat or a lead pipe. It's got this chrome texture on it. But then you have these panels and these blocks that don't have any texture at all. They're just 2D. Well, not 2D, but you know what I mean. In the distance, they look like they were drawn in MS Paint. Obviously, they aren't, but I'm just saying, they have this cartoony outline to them. This bat doesn't. It's hard to tell the swinging distance on the bat, and I just died. So yeah, I did beat this level before, so we'll move on to the next level, and then I think I've had enough. bear in mind that this game is being sold. Okay, it's only $1. It's only $1, but $1 is too much. I think this game should pay me $1 to play it. So this level really kind of grinded my gears a bit because you have a wall here, wall here, wall here. Okay, there is a little arrow pointing, but it starts you off facing this way. Okay, so my instinct as a gamer is to go straight this way. However, I have no weapons. What you have to do is come all the way over here. Oops. Turning is really abrasive. The controls they're just not good. Now I got a bat. And I got a bat. 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 And then I bat more zombies. The slow-mo effect, I understand what they were going for. But it's got to go. I don't think it actually benefits the game at all. For some reason, there's a score. I don't fully understand the score mechanic. What the score does, I don't know. I picked up that red Rubik's Cube. Like, even a little pop-up saying, health pickup would help. Obviously, this game does not seem to have a regenerating health system like a lot of FPS games do, and that's fine. But it's one or the other. You can't have no heads-up display telling you what your health is, and no regenerating. You can't have it both ways. Is what I'm trying to say. You can't have it both ways. You have to pick one or the other, I think, unless you're really the type of person who can innovate, who can really, come up with something new that works. But if you can't do that, then just go with one of the tried and true methods. I just died, but I wasn't touching a zombie, so something hurt me, but they didn't touch me yet. I was shooting them with the gun. There was a good couple feet between them and me. Alright, now one of the things I have to go over and fully acknowledge is that I did not see that there was actually a health bar on screen. Now, many of you folks... Alright, I'm gonna have to be fair here and say that I fucked up as well. There is actually a health bar at the bottom of the screen. So I'm sure some of you no doubt have typed in the comments, there's a health bar at the center of the screen, or a health gauge, I should say. It's not really a bar. But this is really a whole other can of worms when it comes to design. A counter, going from 0 to 100 for an HP or a health indicator is so rudimentary, so basic. That honestly, it's something that like maybe a first year game design student might do, not even. You gotta understand that human beings are visual animals, and a number doesn't really convey health. I will accept responsibility and say, you know what, I've been playing this game for about 30 minutes now in total, and I have not seen that health indicator down there, okay? I will accept responsibility there, but I do need to point out that is still sloppy game design. If you're a brand new game designer, I highly recommend going with something that's cliche but easily comprehensible. Have a green bar at the top left-hand corner. If you want to be fancy, do that once you're more experienced and more confident in your ability to design games. But a green bar at the top left-hand corner, every gamer is going to know what that means. Another thing I have to point out is that when you take damage, there really isn't a damage indicator at all. There's no blood, the screen doesn't flash red, there's just no feedback, okay? If you look towards good games, I talked about Resident Evil 4, so I'll stick with that. When Leon takes a hit, blood comes out, he winces in pain, and you have a very easily understood visual you took damage. Okay, you got hurt. You understand that you got hurt. Okay, um, this game doesn't do that, and the overall feedback, the lack of feedback on this game is problematic. I don't ever feel like I'm fully in control of the character. And like I said, turning is terrible. The pause menu is broken. The mechanics don't really work with the goal of the game. There's no real reason to choose one gun over another, and more often than not, the game will limit you with just one weapon. Um, there was that last level I died on, and strategically, using the bat would have been smarter than the Uzi. The Uzi itself has absolutely no real benefit to it. You use it if that's your only choice, but the bat and the what I guess is supposed to be a souped-up shotgun are the best weapons you could possibly use. There's absolutely no point to the Uzi. Um, I feel like this game was very, very rushed. And it's quite frankly not worth selling for even $1, not even 25 cents. Um, I wouldn't recommend it, and I think this really illustrates a problem. This game isn't acceptable commercially. It really isn't, and yet Steam sells it. Um, I hate this game. I don't. I mean, I got nothing against the developers. If the developers make something better, or if they improve this, I'm more than happy to try it again. But as far as I can tell, this game is amateurish garbage. Okay, um, don't buy it.